Hey, Jeff, have you ever read that book, Stone Soup?
Oh yeah, where they get the stone and then they say they don't have anything to eat, so they have the stone, and some people bring some carrots and some people bring some other things, and eventually they've got soup.
Stone Soup, yes. I think it's like a kid's book. I read it when I was a kid. The whole concept of Stone Soup, as Jeff said, is I come to a town with nothing, and the people in the town have nothing. And I say, well, I'm going to make stone soup. And they say, okay, well, what's that? Well, I put a stone in boiling water, and it's going to be the best soup ever. And someone says, oh, that sounds terrible. Well, maybe if we add some carrots, it'll be slightly better. So they give me some carrots. Someone says, well, I don't have any carrots, but I have some celery, right? And someone says, oh, you better add some pepper to that stone soup. And by the end of the process, you eat the stone soup. You don't eat the stone. You take that part out. And it's...
You gotta save it for the next time if you eat the stone.
Right, exactly, right. You take the stone to the next town and commit the scam all over again. But the point is, it's not really a scam, because the person with the stone didn't actually really scam anybody. They were given the carrots, given the celery, given the spices, and he fed the town. It was everybody who only had one thing. There was nothing. Some celery stalks, and then by the end of the story, there was soup for everyone.
Yeah, I think that's nonsense. I think if the town were really that hungry, they would say, hey, let's make some soup. I've got some carrots.
Right, but this is what was inspiring to me about this story.
Okay.
No one does that except for the few, the inspired, the people who come to town. And, another thing I was thinking about, I just saw this movie the other night called The Greatest Showman. And I did not want to see this movie. It's a musical about P.T. Barnum. Now, there's already been a musical about P.T. Barnum called Barnum, which I had seen and I thought was good. So why do it again? And why make up lies about his life? Why create a fictional reality where everything's top hats and everything's minorities and happy and there's no animal abuse and all this stuff when it's all just a lie? Why celebrate a shyster?
It sounds like you just went from one end of the thing to the other, where the person shows up in town with nothing and they make excitement, and then you say you don't like that P.T. Barnum shows up.
I'm telling you the devil's. I'm giving you the devil's advocate argument.
Which side of the argument am I on?
Strong. You're on the. For all of my arguments, you're on the opposite end.
Awesome. That's where I like to be.
So, P.T. Barnum in the movie, he comes to town and he's got big dreams and big ideas. And he gets basically a bunch of BS together, and he charges admission to the poor dregs of society who, nothing. Why would we want to go to your museum of there's like a stuffed antelope and an elephant and whatever. They didn't really focus on it, but who even knows if these were even real animals or if they're just made out of plaster? I didn't really get into it. The point is, it wasn't very exciting. So he started to meet freaks, okay, people who had difficult lives, and he put together a show. So your argument earlier with the stone soup was, well, why don't we? The town could have done it without him. What do we need P.T. Barnum for? The town could have created something. Yes. The town could have taken the bearded the overweight bearded lady and given her a better life than she was in the back of a laundromat or something working the clothes, and he turned her into a star. Again, ignoring any individual specific historical inaccuracy and ignoring any bad stuff that the real-life P.T. Barnum did, and I, of course, would never defend that stuff. But just the concept of being a showman, of being I don't want to say shyster, I want to say being a producer. This is what being a producer is. It's proclaiming with absolutely nothing. I have nothing, but I'm going to proclaim that I have something. And the irony is that by the end of the process, something is there. You go to a party, and someone says, I'm making a film and Matt Damon is attached. And you say, what, Matt Damon? Well, that's great. And you go home and you look it up, and there's no mention in Variety or Hollywood Reporter or anywhere, so is this guy lying? So cut to a year later. In fact, I'll give you an actual example that happened to me 15 years ago. I'm at a film festival in Virginia, and I meet this guy, and he says, hi, how's it going? My name is Richard. Hi, I'm making a film. And he tells me it's a science fiction film, and he tells me about it, and he tells me who's in it. Patrick Swayze, which was kind of a big deal 15 years ago.
Now it would be truly a big deal because he's dead.
So this guy Richard says, "Hey, I'm making this movie. Patrick Swayze in it," and he names other names that were pretty big. And I was like, "Okay, he's a crazy person."
So did he get Patrick Swayze?
A year later, I dismissed him. A year later, Donnie Darko comes out, and it was the guy I met, and it was all true. Now, how did he do it? Patrick Swayze is like he's barely in the movie. I'm not even sure he's even in the movie. I might be remembering wrong, but it's irrelevant. The point is, he said, "I'm getting Patrick Swayze," and I was like, And everyone who was connected and could, that means something, right? And so he gets a little bit further in the process, a little bit further. And maybe he reaches out to Patrick Swayze. He's like, maybe Patrick Swayze says, "Oh, I don't know if I want to do this. I'll read the."
And then other people get attached
because of Patrick Swayze, and it all comes together. Now, suppose Patrick Swayze had dropped out, and a year later, Donnie Darko came out instead of. You know who else was? Oh, he said Drew Barrymore. That was the.
I get Patrick Swayze and Drew Barrymore.
No, I think he might be in it too, but Drew Barrymore was definitely in it, and that was the name that was like, you have Drew Barrymore, but. Maybe he has Patrick Swayze, and then he goes to Drew Barrymore. Patrick Swayze's in it, and she's like, "Oh, I loved Ghost when I was younger. I'm making this up. I want to be in it because of Patrick." So Patrick Swayze shows up on set for 3 hours and does one dialogue scene, and that's it, and he's not in the movie anymore. But now he's got who did I just say?
Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore, right? It all comes together. Now suppose a year later, Patrick Swayze and Drew Barrymore were not in the movie, okay? But Matt Damon or somebody's in the movie, right? I wouldn't have been like, "What a loser Richard was," right? No way. I would have been like, "Wow, I guess he was wrong about that one detail, but holy crap, it came together." That is what I'm talking about. Sometimes, and I'm not advocating lying, and I'm not advocating deceiving. I'm talking about hype. I'm talking about being a showman.
Yeah, I will say this. With any activity, you need to move forward with confidence in order to make progress. That every step you take, if you stop and put your feet down one at a time, you're not going to get forward nearly as fast as if you just put your foot out there and lift the weight off the last foot and expect there to be ground in front of you.
It's putting yourself out there and manifesting something where there was nothing. It is a process it's almost magical.
Oh yeah.
It's alchemical. And it's something that we as humans can do that I think we should be proud of. And I think that we should stop treating ourselves so negatively or dismissing the people who are dreamers, the people who believe in creating stuff. Because what is the Apple commercial where they say sometimes the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do?
Oh, yeah.
Sold me 15 years worth of Macs based on that line. Anyway, so that's pretty much all I wanted to say about that. It's something I'm passionate about, obviously.
I'm going to put Patrick Swayze in my next game.
But Patrick Swayze's dead.
I know, but I'm going to manifest it.
Well, but by saying that, or maybe you should switch it to Drew Barrymore, but by saying it, the act of saying it makes it a little bit closer to real.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for watching.
I'm Jeff Siadek.
And I'm Joey Vigour. Go out there and make some stone soup.